There is one country in the world that is taken for granted more than any other place. This country is home to the kindest individuals with an incredible love for life. They're responsible for inventing video calls, baby incubators for rural areas, and they also play a massive role in the invention of chips that we use in so many of our computers today. This country has citizens living all over the world to help you and I, to help the elderly, the sick, the poor, and many of them go totally unnoticed. When I told you that they are taken for granted, I meant it. With scarce opportunities, many family members make the tough decisions to go and work overseas so that they can better provide for their loved ones. The Filipino government has capitalized on this phenomenon and is actively exporting people for profit, bringing over $30 billion a year into the country. In fact, the Philippines is the top supplier of nurses in the world, with about 25% of all overseas nurses coming from the country. And especially now, during COVID, the demand for Filipino caregivers and nurses is higher than ever. Without the Philippines, the world might look something like this. We would lose 7,641 islands, with a total landmass of 300,000 square kilometers. These breathtakingly beautiful islands are known for their agriculture, and they're home to over 35% of the world's coral reefs. Without the Philippines, we would lose an invaluable amount of the dwindling supply of coral reefs that we have left. The luscious soil on the islands is so rich and fertile that crops can be planted all year round. So with no Philippines, there would be a huge shortage in the production of imported coconuts, bananas, and tropical fruits from all around the world. As a blossoming and developing tech giant, the Philippines is known as the text capital of the world, where the country sends in excess of 400 million text messages every single day. And just so you could get a sense of how much I love this country, there are two things that you should look at. One, the heart-wrenchingly intimate care that families give their elders. As a country with massive poverty issues, many families are not able to afford care, so caring for those who have reached an older age has become deeply embedded in the backbone of their society. Young children are often taught to greet their elders with a gesture called mano po to express profound respect. 2. The Philippines is the gold standard in Asia for how women should be treated in society. The Global Gender Gap Rankings Index had New Zealand and the Philippines directly competing for the top 2 spots over the past 10 years, blowing other East Asian countries far out of the water, beating the US and many other mainstream developed countries by a long shot. The bottom line is that without the Philippines, the world would be less flavorful and not nearly as charming, and definitely a lot less magical. So in order to sustain one of the most important and resourceful places on the earth, as much as we need them, we also have to meet that need with an equal measure of appreciation. Living in the Philippines is not always easy. There are people living in very tough situations, and there are many places that are soaked in poverty. And that's why so many families are making the sacrifice of sending their loved ones overseas. In the beginning of this video, I said that the Philippines is the place in this world that is most taken for granted, and I stand by that statement. A big part of my company, Regan Hillyer International, is employing people within the Philippines. These people are a very big part of my heart, and I made this video to show my massive gratitude to one of, I believe, the best countries on the planet. Please join me in thanking the Philippines, and write "Thank you, Philippines." Maybe even tag in a Filipino who you know and love and who you want to acknowledge today. Let's share this video to show appreciation and to show the rest of the world what an amazing place the Philippines is. My name is Regan Hillyer, and thank you so much for watching.